Yeah, I solicited questions for this, and it seems like there's at least some respect on his side of things because he straight up told me this. He said, despite our differences, I got up in the ROH bubble, and the only person up that early in the gym was Shane Taylor. Him and only him, and I respect that, but he wants it, and he's going to get it. That's
He
what he
absolutely.
says to me.
Listen, then I'm glad he thinks that way. The only thing that I would warn EC3 about, because we have known each other for a long time, but he was sort of on his way out of the Cleveland area as I was making my way in. So my advice to him was do not think I'm that guy from 13 years ago, because if you do, I'm going to put you on your face just like I did everybody else. The fact that he's there, and I might add that I was there in the gym before EC3. You know what
Yeah.
I mean? So great. I'm glad he respects the work ethic. I'm glad he is acknowledging that. I can respect his path and the things that he's done in his career as well. But if he thinks for 1 second that that amount of respect that I have for him is in any way, shape, or form going to stop me from whooping his ass, he's mistaken.
He seemed to indicate that he must have been a giant inspiration to you coming from the Cleveland area as well.
Let's first off, okay. Let's get one thing straight. I'm from Cleveland. A lot of the guys that ran in our circles are from Cleveland. He's from Willoughby, which is no disrespect to Willoughby, but it's not Cleveland. So while they may cheer for Cleveland teams, while they may root for that, he doesn't have the same perspective that I have. He didn't come exactly from where I came from. So um, to act like we're the same or act like we're from the same place is just disingenuous. Um, so when it comes to finding myself in any sort of situation, I feel as though I'll be able to adapt better than he will.
I was in Cleveland earlier this year for the first time. I actually, even as a longtime Cincinnati fan,
Mm-hmm.
enjoyed the city a lot. It was wonderful even in January. I was very surprised. I spoke to Josh Prohibition there, and
Mm-hmm.
I was like, listen, I mean, you've got Shane Taylor, you've got EC3, The Miz, you've got Dolph Ziggler, you've got Johnny Gargano, all this influx of talent from that area. And he seemed to indicate to me that you have to be tough to live in Cleveland, whether it be the weather, whether it be disappointing fans like sports seasons and stuff that tests your mettle and your mental your mental strength. What
Mm-hmm.
do you see as one of the biggest things that produces so much talent out of that area?
Uh, and before I answer that, let's not forget Eric, Viking Raiders fame,
Oh
also
yeah.
from um, man, it's a combination of things, but it's also it differs from person to person based on your experience, right? Like for us, yes, you've got the sports teams, yes, you've got the cold, but for me and Eric specifically, right, growing up where we did, there was crime, there's drugs, violence, gangs, so you have to be different mentally to survive that in the first place, let alone succeed and make it out of that environment. So it's very tough to explain to people who've never had to experience it, right? So you can have other people, right? Say you're from somewhere sunny like Florida or California. Like, yeah, your sports teams could lose, but it's okay. You can go out to the beach. It's all good. There is none of that in Cleveland. Like, it's cold, it's gray, your teams lose, and you've got to deal with all the BS that comes on top of it. It's like you just have to be built different to survive.
Let me tell you, when I was walking back to my hotel in January weather and I caught that breeze off the water, I was like, "Take me back to Kentucky." I'm like, I was not built for it. I was not ready for it. I was like, "Okay,
It's low key disrespectful, isn't it? Like,
yeah." And like my grandmother grew up there. I went and saw her old house. It was a wonderful trip for me. Awesome Kong cut my hair. It was a lot of mixed
oh damn,
emotions. A lot of mixed
okay,
emotions there, but coming to terms with the fact that Cleveland wasn't actually terrible after growing up a Cincinnati sports fan. It
mm,
was humbling, and I got to
right.
experience a lot of nice things there. I'm not surprised so many tough people came from there. Uh, Ring
Hold
of
on, before we gloss over the fact that Awesome Kong cut your hair, what happened there? Because
so
you just
I
threw
grew
that
out
out
my
like that wasn't a big deal, but
I grew out my hair, so my hair was like down to here. I grew it out to donate to charity, and I hit up AEW, and I was like, hey, let's do something with the Nightmare Collective deal. And they brought me in, and Awesome Kong cut my hair, and it was actually the last night she was there. And they split up the group 2 hours later. So,
Oh, damn.
wrestling fans who didn't like the Nightmare Collective, I broke them up. There you go. My hair. It's like Samson.
It's revisionist history, but we'll move on.